All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So there's some pretty interesting buzz kind of surrounding this whole Aaron Rodgers trade situation, right? When we look at trade compensation, there's a couple rumors out there. I feel like as the days go by here, it seems like the overall compensation isn't going to be as high as what was initially reported, which was 2 first-round picks. Obviously, that's a big package. But, in the grand scheme of things, like the Jets got that and more for Jamal Adams. So, 2 first-round picks for a top quarterback in football, albeit he's expensive, albeit he's 39 years old, will be 40 next season, to me is worth it. I mean, 2 first-round picks is 2 first-round picks. Also, another thing that we have to keep in mind, Jets regardless, right? The same exact argument can be made for Tennessee or the Raiders or whoever were to land Rodgers. That second first-round pick, that future first, you would assume wouldn't be like a top 5, top 10 selection. You would think it would probably be in the late 20s because the whole point of acquiring Rodgers is to make that deep playoff push, and he's obviously a guy who is still capable of doing that. So just something to keep in mind. But here's what's really interesting. The latest, again, buzz, rumors, nothing is set in stone, is that it might actually take less to go get Rodgers. Peter King actually went on Pro Football Talk and sat down with, I believe it was Mike Florio, and said it's looking like it's going to be a first and something. Whether that's a first and a player, a first and a mid-round pick, a first and a futures pick, first and a conditional pick, something like that. Obviously, that's better than, of course, depending on the player, that's a better situation than 2 first-round picks right off the bat. And then I think it was Brian Costello was on WFAN radio, and he said that it could potentially be lower than that, like a day 2 pick plus a conditional pick. And then you're thinking, are you kidding me? Like, the New York Jets could go potentially land Aaron Rodgers for, let's just say, a second-round pick and another second-round pick that could turn into a first if the team makes, like, the AFC Championship game. Are you kidding me? That's all it would take? Insane. That is absolutely insane. Again, older, up there in age, uncommittal on the future. Did see a production drop off last season, but Aaron Rodgers is still Aaron Rodgers. It's nuts. But here's my concern. The Green Bay Packers haven't really discussed a trade at all. It's not like these GMs are on the phone and they're negotiating as we speak. It's not like the Raiders with Carr. The Raiders have already talked to teams about Derek Carr. They're fielding interest. They're seeing what's up with that. There is a set deadline, February 15th. The Raiders have got to make a decision. They either trade him or they cut him. I mean, because you're not going to keep him on the roster and then let that $40 million get guaranteed. It just doesn't make any sense. The Raiders have their mind made up as far as what the plan is with the with Derek Carr moving forward. He's not going to be a Raider. Green Bay isn't in that situation, right? Aaron Rodgers himself said all the trade talk is pure speculation. It's just conjecture at this point because he doesn't even know what he wants to do moving forward. He could retire. He could want to stick with the Green Bay Packers, maybe restructure his contract. There's so many different possibilities up in the air. There isn't that set deadline. And it doesn't really sound like Rodgers is in any sort of rush to make a decision. It seems like he's completely fine just waiting around until he's ready to make that choice and then moving forward from there. And unfortunately for the Packers, Rodgers holds a lot of the cards because, Green Bay, of course, can in turn just say, you know what? We don't care what you want. We're going to trade you to the Jets. Sorry, we're going to trade you to whoever, the Tennessee Titans. Well, Rodgers can come back and say, no, I'll retire. I'm good. I'm just going to step away. So Green Bay's in a bit of they're in between a rock and a hard place, especially when we factor in the money, the pre-June and post-June trade dead cap hits and stuff like that. I'm going to make a video about that. But Green Bay's in a tough spot. So the point is, yes, we can try to project trade compensation and all that kind of stuff. That's fine, but it's not like Green Bay's on the phone negotiating. We haven't even hit the peak yet where teams are bidding, because there's been multiple reports. Well, Derek Carr's not going to be a Raider. They're going to have a massive hole at the quarterback position. Every like Raider fan is thinking that they are on the hook with Aaron Rodgers. They're in the mix as well as the Jets fans. So it's an interesting back and forth. I mean, Green Bay could easily pick up the phone and get the Jets and the Raiders to start a bidding war right then and there. So, you know, like if you're a Raider fan, if you're a member on that Raiders coaching staff, and news breaks, oh, the Jets acquire Aaron Rodgers for a 2nd round pick and, you know, a conditional 2nd round pick that could jump up to a 1st. The Raiders are looking at that like, man, we could have offered something more. We could have offered that same deal plus Hunter Renfrow, plus a Darren Waller, somebody that the Packers have been really interested in over the last couple of seasons. So, you know, I'm not saying that, you know, the rumors are wrong because, you know, at the end of the day, nobody knows. But at the same time, you would assume that once things get going, once Rodgers makes an announcement like, I'm playing football next season, and the Green Bay Packers want to move on, and I'm okay with that, or vice versa, I want to move on and Green Bay is okay with that, that's when we're really going to start to see what Rodgers is worth. But up until that point, it's all just kind of a guessing game. It's just speculation. What do you think Green Bay could be looking for in a trade? We don't know the market for Aaron Rodgers right now because it's like an unprecedented situation. When was the last time we've seen a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers with this current contract situation? You know, I can't really remember. Like, typically when we see a guy get moved, it's because they want that big extension. Like Deshaun Watson getting the fully guaranteed deal last season, or Russell Wilson gets traded over to Denver the same day that Aaron Rodgers signed his extension with Green Bay last offseason. He goes and signs the 5-year deal, 5-year deal with the Broncos. Typically, it's a situation like that, not where Rodgers is on this massive deal already and the two parties are just going to go their separate ways. So it's a weird situation, but I cannot wait to see how it all plays out. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. What do you think Rodgers is worth? What would you be okay giving up? Funny enough, I actually did a video with my buddy Alex, Bossorowski Productions, and we were going back and forth about a potential Rodgers Jets trade, and he was kind of thinking a 1st round pick, Elijah Moore, and something else. I would be okay with that personally. I mean, I like Elijah Moore's upside. I love his potential moving forward, especially with Rodgers. But if that's what it takes to go land Rodgers, I'm doing that. You can always go draft another wide receiver in round 3 and he could go make an impact. You can always go sign another guy. Alan Lazard, Rodgers' former teammate, if you do end up parting ways with Corey Davis. But anyway, I digress. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, go Jets.